Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the one mistake you do not want to make when it comes to buying and selling stocks. Now, this rule involves the wash sale rule, and it's a rule that not a lot of investors know about, or at least not a lot of new investors know about, but it is a very important rule. And I'm sure a lot of you know what the wash sale rule is, but for those of you who don't know, I'll go ahead and recap it really quick. The wash sale rule basically means when you buy a stock and then sell it for a loss, you can't buy the stock back within 30 days. So if you buy a stock, let's say you buy Apple stock for $100 a share, you buy one share for $100, and then you sell it at a $10 loss for $90 a share. If you were to then immediately buy back that share, that means that the loss will be disallowed on your taxes. Now, really quick, I'm going to show you guys some stuff on the whiteboard to show you kind of the dangers of violating the wash sale rule. But really quick, something important about the wash sale rule is just because a wash sale has occurred, and that means that it will show on your tax documents that you get from your broker that you're using, it'll show a disallowed it'll show a disallowed loss on there. That doesn't mean that the loss is gone forever. So if you buy one share of Apple stock for $100 a share and then you sell it for a $10 loss and then you buy it back immediately, that $10 loss that you got on the stock is not gone forever. All that happens is the loss is added to your new cost basis. So what that means is if you violate the wash sale rule by buying the stock back within 30 days, and then you do not sell it through the end of the year, then it will show up as disallowed for the year. However, if you then go and sell it a second time, then you can realize the loss on your taxes as long as you sold the stock within a year and you did not violate the wash sale rule again. So that's something really important to keep in mind. Just because you violate the wash sale rule does not mean those losses are gone for forever. Now here's where I think the wash sale rule can really mess people up. So let's go over here, and what we're going to do is really quick, I'm going to draw on here a big square. So let's draw a big square on here. And we're going to put 4 boxes in the bigger box. So you can see here we have 4 boxes. And now what I'm doing here is I'm showing you how to calculate your capital gains, and then I'm showing you what happens when you have a disallowed loss and how it can change how much you pay on your taxes for the year, which is a really big deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to go long-term gain and long-term loss, and then we're going to go short-term gain and short-term loss. Okay, so you can see here I have, let's see if I can scoot this over a little bit. Okay, so as you can see here I have long-term gain with the plus, long-term loss minus short-term gain, short-term loss. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our red and green markers, and we're going to do, let's go ahead and just fill this out. Let's say that you had long-term loss of 1,000 and short-term loss of 2,000. And then let's take the green here, and let's say you had a long-term gain of 5,000 and short-term gain of 5,000. Now, what's interesting about this is you can see that the $1,000 long-term loss cancels out to where this is now $4,000, and this cancels out, this $2,000 loss cancels out with the $5,000 gain to result in a $3,000 gain. So you would have $4,000 gain between these two boxes and $3,000 gain between these two boxes for a result of $7,000 in gains. However, if you violate the wash sale rule, that means this loss is now disallowed. And let's say you came down here and you violated this one as well. That one's disallowed. That means now this $5,000 and $5,000 of long-term and short-term gains don't have any losses to cancel out, which means you now, instead of owing taxes on $7,000 worth of gains, will now owe taxes on $10,000 worth of gains. Now, again, these losses will transfer over to the tax year where you sell. So you bought, sold, then you bought back and violated the wash sale rule. Once you sell that second time and you don't violate the wash sale rule, in the year that you do that, these losses you will be able to use on your taxes. But when you violate the wash sale rule and then you hold those stocks through the end of the year, these losses can't be used on your taxes, which effectively means that you will raise the amount of taxes you'll need to pay because your short and long-term gains will also be higher. So that's something really important to keep in mind when you are thinking about the wash sale rule. And here's something, guys. I think it's just a good rule of thumb to try your hardest not to violate the wash sale rule. If you're going to sell a stock, you need to have a good reason for selling it. And you don't want to just go back in and buy the stock back. Like if you buy a share of Apple and then sell a share of Apple and then, a week later buy it back, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, if you liked Apple and you didn't want to sell it, then you probably should have just held on to it. Also, keep in mind that the wash sale rule, you can't buy a similar security, or a similar stock. So basically what that means is if you buy Apple and sell Apple, you can't buy Apple back. If you buy the S&P 500 and sell the S&P 500, you can't buy the S&P 500 back. But let's say one good strategy you can use is, let's say you sell Apple for a loss and you take that money and you don't want that money to just sit in cash because you still want to take advantage of the long-term uptrend of the stock market. Let's say you sell Apple and then you go and buy Google. Well, different companies, but they're both mega cap technology companies. They're both FANG stocks. And so they should have relatively similar performance. So if the stock market as a whole crashes and you want to realize a loss on Apple and then move that over and buy Google, you have a good chance of Google rebounding when Apple rebounds. So this is one way to get around the wash sale rule. And it's something that I do all the time. If I want to go ahead and realize a loss on a stock, I'll just go and find a similar stock or a stock that I think has a better opportunity cost, and I'll go park my money there for 30 days. Now, after those 30 days are over, you can always sell out of that stock and you can go back and buy the original stock. But I really would try hard, guys, not to violate the wash sale rule. This is something that if you are a beginner investor, you might not even be thinking about. But as you become more of a sophisticated investor, you will get better and better at not violating the wash sale rule. And it'll do two things. It will help you keep more of the losses for that year, and it will greatly simplify your tax paperwork and your taxes when you fill them out at the end of the year. Now, to not violate the wash sale rule, you can really do a number of things, and it depends on your personality and how closely you want to track this. You can have an Excel spreadsheet where you put the dates that you bought and sold and which shares you bought and sold, and then you can put 31 days later when you can buy it back. So you can do an Excel spreadsheet. You can do a note on your phone with a reminder, and you can program back in the day, so it'll send you a notification when you can buy that stock back, or you can just put it on a Post-it note and put it on your desk. I do that all the time, where if I sell a stock, I'll just write it on a Post-it note. I'll put the date I sold it. I'll put the date that I can buy it back, and I will, put it on my computer or next to my computer. So that's something really simple you can do to not violate the wash sale rule, is just put those reminders out there. So I know that was a pretty short video and it was a very simplistic overview of the wash sale rule, but if you guys have any other questions, drop a comment below down in the comment section. I respond to every single question down there. So if you have any questions about the wash sale rule, put them down there and I will make sure to respond. And if I don't know the answer, I will do the research and figure it out for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And with that, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.